Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Stellar Lumens, aka XLM. So with that being said, let's just dive in and let's start off with the overall price chart. So one thing that we have been noticing around this space for so long is to talk about XRP versus XLM. Which one is better? Which one should we hold? Is Ripple trying to kill Stellar? Is Stellar trying to kill Ripple? And honestly, I look at these two and I'm just like, I don't understand why you wouldn't want to hold both of them. They're both great utility assets, and the companies that are spearheading these two tokens, when I say that, I don't mean that Ripple is XRP and XRP is Ripple. Ripple has chosen to utilize XRP, and they've been expanding their on-demand liquidity corridor, or I shouldn't say corridor, but solutions into corridors around the world utilizing XRP. So again, this is why I look at both of them. This is also why I think that these two currencies are going to be very useful in the future, especially when we look at a lot of the documentation around cryptocurrencies, trust bridges, stuff like that. As we look at XRP and XLM, like I said, I think everyone should be holding these two because utility is going to be the big focus going forward on. As we look at XLM, sitting at about roughly a $2 billion market cap, XRP sitting at roughly a quarter of $100 billion in market cap. And as we look at both of these assets on an all-time chart, side by side, they do very, very similar moves. XLM slightly almost outperforming its 2018 all-time high. XRP really didn't. Hit about like roughly $2 compared to its almost $4 all-time high. I know that CoinMarketCap is only showing us about roughly $3.10, but we know on other markets that it did hit roughly almost $4 in price. And I think I was saying market cap. I do apologize if I was. But if we do look at XLM side by side with XRP, these two have been doing pretty well this year so far. We might get one last major dip on both of these, but nonetheless, we have just been trailing sideways, very similar to like 2019 and 2020. And we are waiting for the big break on a lot of altcoins, but we still need to go through the Bitcoin cycle like we usually do. But I do think that these two are great holds. And when we look at what happened recently with XLM, I think that XLM's future is pretty solidified around P2P. So let's dive into that and let's actually look into how both of these are very similar and also very different in terms of XRP versus XLM. So with the recent focus on Stellar around payments, like I said, the discussion has been, is Stellar trying to replace Ripple? Like, what's going on here? We do see over here, been very impressed with Stellar Org's extreme focus on global payments and accessibility. As they bring smart contracts to the chain later this year, Sorbonne official, user onboarding will be that much easier. Excited to be part of this journey. And here we have from Stellar with Cadeau. So I actually like this going back to June 9th, but we do see announcing updates to the Stellar Anchor platform, making it easier to build on Stellar with less dev time and cost. And here we have Cadeau or Cadeau, however you want to say it. Money, a Web3 onboarding and infrastructure company, now supports USDC on Stellar and leverage the Anchor platform to bridge their on/off ramps to the network. Now Stellar wallets can offer Cadeau's global ramp services to users in 160 plus countries. So again, they continue to expand their payment services, and just recently we've seen a huge announcement, and this is from Danielle Dixon. Starting today, Coinbase now fully supports Circle's USDC via the Stellar network. Millions of customers, both institutional and retail, can now access a global digital dollar. So again, this started the conversation on, is Ripple being replaced as a bridge currency with XRP? No, I don't believe so. As we look at this, right, it's very clear to me on the market that Stellar is trying to corner, which I'll get to here in a second. But we do see USDC on Stellar is now officially supported by Coinbase. Coinbase's millions of users can now benefit from near instant speeds on USDC deposits and withdrawals via Stellar and more easily access the network of real world utility. From remittances and real-time payments to global fiat and crypto on/off ramps, which are crucial, by the way, USDC on the Stellar network delivers real-world utility for both businesses and individuals alike. And then we also did see Jeremy Allaire from Circle say this is a big deal. Stellar has unlocked wallets and on and off ramps on a massive scale internationally. This provides a superb, fast, and inexpensive way to move USDC globally and easily on and off ramp using cash. Congrats, Coinbase and Stellar. So Again, pretty big. Coinbase obviously still has XLM listed. XRP is delisted. So that's where a lot of the conversation comes from with, Coinbase now collaborating with Stellar. Previously to about like 2019, I want to say, to about 2020, Coinbase did have a cross-border payment sort of breakdown with XRP actually on their website, where it was promoting XRP, if you will. And that got completely removed once they delisted XRP. So again, it kind of does question like what's happening here with Coinbase and Stellar versus Coinbase with Ripple with XRP, right? But nonetheless, over here is the full-on announcement. And we do see purpose-built for payments. By supporting USDC on Stellar, Coinbase provides a critical access point for both companies and users to benefit from faster and low-cost USDC powered by the efficiency of the Stellar network. The biggest problem that I always have with a lot of these announcements is you don't really see XLM being involved with a lot of these announcements. The big thing for most people is like, how is XLM going to increase in value at all from this? I want you guys to realize that XLM is still paid for on any fees that accounts are created on Stellar. Also, a lot of payments and things like that. Again, the fees are usually paid out in XLM. But nonetheless, as we do scroll here, and we do see banks, fintechs, and exchanges can leverage the infrastructure, speed, and low cost of USDC on Stellar's rails to access and build use cases around a truly global digital dollar, from remittances and real-time payments to fiat and crypto on/off ramps. USDC on the Stellar network delivers real-world utility for businesses and individuals, and also even convert physical cash to crypto globally with MoneyGram in over 180 countries with 300,000 plus locations. And yeah, MoneyGram is also a big, deal here because MoneyGram recently, I shouldn't say recently, but going back a year ago, MoneyGram partnered with Stellar. At around the same time, a lot of people were even discussing then, like what's happening here, because MoneyGram did have a partnership with Ripple that they got rid of once Ripple did get sued by the SEC, and now they're working with Stellar. So again, I can understand why people are like, all right, well, Stellar's trying to kill Ripple, right? Like they're competing 100%, right? Again, these two, like I said, are purpose-built for two completely different markets, which I will address. But also, they did just celebrate 1 year with MoneyGram, 300,000 locations, 180 plus countries, 0 fees. And you can see how this works with MoneyGram and Stellar. Again, it's a great partnership. And I think that it puts a spotlight on the reasoning behind Stellar versus Ripple, right? As we go back in time. So let me focus now on the true markets. As we look at Stellar and a lot of these initiatives, although yes, they are still mentioning banks and financial institutions, we already know who's built for banks and institutions. We already know who has all the partnerships with these major institutions and central banks and banks themselves. It's Ripple, right? There's no question there. As we look at Stellar and we look at XLM, to me personally, they're cornering the P2P market. This is more so for on and off ramps to and from the retail sector, for businesses, just like P2P, right? Now, as we go back to some of the PDF files, this one specifically, this is with the IMF. This is the IMF's documents, and we do see 3 models arise: a private settlement asset marketplace such as Ripple's XRP, an open source marketplace such as Stellar's or Stellar Foundations. To me, the way that this reads is we have Ripple with XRP built for the wholesale private market. And as we do look at Stellar Foundations, it's more so for P2P and the people. This has always been my thought process around Ripple and Stellar. And just recently, from the Atlanta Fed, they explained Web3 finance, including XRP International Payment Medium. This was from May 26th. Within this, we also had a little bit of a breakdown from the BIS. And within this, what you see, Ripple and Stellar are 2 blockchain-based companies that are trying to make value transfer cheaper. Ripple provides various services via the use of its native token, the XRP, which is roughly envisioned as the international payment medium or wholesale settlement coin. Keyword there is wholesale settlement coin, because as we look at that, what does wholesale mean? Wholesale is for the big banks, the central banks. When we look at what Stellar is doing, we don't see Stellar partnering with, major institutions and banks. Although, yes, they do have exposure to some banks, technically, they're not fully focused on this area. For the longest time, if you go back in time and look at Ripple versus Stellar or anything like that, you could see the partnerships and you could see where these two are focused on. All the documents still do read XLM and XRP as two great currencies around cross-border payments and payment technology itself, which is why I do think that these two will be crucial in the long term. Either way, right? If they are both going after the same markets, there's still a vast majority of money out there within these markets that these two could very well be complementary and help achieve this goal of finally having that cheaper value transfer, right? But again, to me personally, these are completely two different areas of focus. They're still focused on payments 100% and cheaper value transfer, but they're focused on two different niche audiences, meaning Ripple and XRP are more so focused on the B2B sector and central banks, while Stellar with XLM is more so focused on P2P. And I think that that's what is solidified through a lot of these partnerships like MoneyGram. MoneyGram has always been more so P2P, right? Like if you go in areas where there's a lot of traffic, MoneyGram's there. It's almost very similar to like Western Union, if you will. Again, this is why I believe that Stellar with XLM is more so for the people, while again, Ripple with XRP is more so for the banks. But if I'm wrong, if I am wrong long term, say for so these two are competing for the same markets. If I am wrong, there's enough money out there for both of these tokens and for both of these companies, but it doesn't hurt to hold both XRP and XLM. Diversification is never a bad thing. You could be over diverse 100%. And if you are starting with small capital, maybe like $1,000, I don't really think that there's much use in diversifying with $1,000. Once you kind of get over the 2K area, that's when you really want to look into diversifying, just because it doesn't hurt to. But again, these two move so similar. So it's almost like, you know, if XRP is about to pump, well, guess what? XLM probably is going to as well. And just recently, if we go back to the 1 month, like here's the 1 month on both of these assets, like XRP already had a significant spike, kind of slowed down a little bit. Here's another spike here, then it kind of slowed down a bit. XLM had the spike. We probably will have a little bit of a sell-off here, back down to about like 8.5 cents, who knows? But that's just me, you know, again, speculating on what we will most likely see if Stellar is going to follow XRP still here. But it doesn't matter, right? Short-term talk doesn't really matter. Long-term, as we do look at both of these, I still think that these are crucial holds. I think everyone should be holding both of these in their portfolio if you believe in utility, if you believe in the future around crypto, and if you do believe that the future is crypto and crypto-driven payments. As we look at a lot of these documents, like I said, you know, I've always seen Ripple with XRP and Stellar, usually with XLM. On this one, there's no XLM being mentioned. But I usually see these two labeled on almost all of these documents. And yes, they are still mentioning the Lightning Network here, which again, it kind of makes me nauseous to even mention, because again, we know that that is a layer 2 network that is very vulnerable. There's a lot of problems tied to it, so it's really not going to be even in the question. It's usually between Ripple, XRP, and Stellar and with XLM. But when we look at both of these, they even mention it here that Ripple with XRP is a little bit different compared to Stellar. That's also why everyone begged the question, like, is Ripple with XRP not for the people? Like, should retail even be able to hold XRP? Which again, you could speculate all day about that, but to me, I don't really question that too much. But I do look at Ripple with XRP for more so the B2B sector, and the wholesale sector, while more so Stellar is for the P2P. So I hope that kind of clarifies things. Again, it doesn't hurt to hold both of them at all. XLM, you know, from here to get to XRP's market cap, it's roughly well over a 10x. For XRP to go back to, you know, $100 billion in market cap, or even go back to its 2017, 2018 market cap, it's roughly like a 4.5, 5x. So do I think that XLM will outperform XRP in ROI? It very well could, but it doesn't matter. This is short term. Long term, when utility truly kicks in and utility values kick in, I do think that XRP could very well be a $1 trillion plus asset. But again, that's me speculating. We don't know where these assets are going to go, but I hope that kind of clarifies my thought process on XLM and XRP. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on. If you guys have more free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. So it's up to you all. Have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. It's been Nick. Peace out, guys.